Hello. Hopefully you just watched my 3 short films highlighting the past, present, and future of farming in the United States. In the past, we see how U.S. farm policy became married to big ag and overproduction. Get big or get out. Today, there are tools and support to guide a farmer for better farming practices away from these industrial methods. There are government guidelines setting objectives for drastically reducing the nutrients running off our fields. But farmers will not adopt these better environmental practices just on goodwill alone. To see the future of farming, one has to go to where there's already extreme climate conditions. Here, regenerative farming, caring for the soil, is the only affordable way to farm. It's time the Midwest changes its model of farming. So what is the model? And what is the change?
For decades, the corn rotation with soybeans has been the main farming system for the Midwest. A field is planted in corn at about 30,000 plants per acre one year, and with soybeans at about 130,000 plants per acre the following year. These two crops have been engineered to complement each other. They both produce similar pelletized-sized seeds, which can be planted and harvested with the same equipment. Seeds for planting are provided by 3 main big ag companies, who have engineered the crops into a planting system which includes the application of herbicides and insecticides that kill everything but their plants. On average, these crops yield about 1.5 tons per acre for soybeans, and 5.5 tons for corn. The world's largest 2 agribusinesses, Cargill and ADM, control much of the market for these commodities. Each year about 90 million acres of corn and 90 million acres of soybeans are planted in the U.S. The end use of these harvested crops is equally split between export, energy, and food. The export market takes the product as it left the field. For energy, the seeds are brewed or pressed into ethanol or biodiesel. For food, the seeds are processed using organic and inorganic chemistry into over 1,000 ingredients, ranging from animal feed to high fructose corn syrup. Less than 1% of this land produces food for cereals. This is a tightly controlled business system run by big ag. The farmers are told they have the freedom to farm, but in reality, they are confined to purchasing supplies procreated by big ag, and then selling the grown crop back to them. This system is so tightly manipulated, few Midwest farmers venture outside this corn-soybean rotation, fearing it will lead to a world of uncertainty, in multiple schemes. 2 major organizations help fuel this tightly bound system, the United States Department of Agriculture, and land-grant universities. Each was formed separately in 1862 under President Lincoln, but have worked together for over 150 years, to design the farming systems in place today. University Ag Research is primarily funded by Big Ag, and focuses more on approving Big Ag products than initiating new ideas. The primary objectives of these fueling organizations can be simply stated: get big or get out. And overproduction. And when overproduction drives the commodity prices low and farmers sell their crops at a loss, the USDA makes direct payments to the farmers to make up the difference. These direct payments to farmers have increased at about $500 million per year since 1980. In 2020 these payments totaled a record $46,265,518,000. What are we paying for? It's time to change that model.
It's pretty clear from where this change can start. It's where this corn-soybean system is being fueled today: land-grant universities and the USDA. The resources of these 2 organizations are stupendous, not just in funding but also with knowledgeable, insightful talent. They already have small, isolated programs encouraging the growth of healthier foods and the incorporation of regenerative farming methods. It's time that these become the primary programs and not just for show. Certainly, the corn-soybean rotation is not going away anytime soon. The system is far too ingrained into our Midwest rural economies and food production. But there is one step every farmer can take: regenerative farming practices. As we've seen, farmers already in harsh and changing climate areas are embracing it, not just for the environment, but for their own livelihood. Regenerative farming requires more precision. More precision in establishing a winter cover crop, tilling the seedbed and planting the crop, and in the timing and location of fertilizer and pesticides. A major drawback to the adoption of this precision farming is that it's difficult to implement with the largest machines going the fastest through the fields. Farmers will have to use smaller machines that allow them to get into the fields under wetter conditions. Not only will each farming operation take more passes, and thus more time, but the applications will need to be repeated to match the exact growing needs of the plant. It might be one thing to say that this is impossible, but today the technology and equipment are available. It's not a dream. It's here and ready to use. We can change that system. What's holding us back?